Hey guys, it's Sandy. I just wanted to get on here today and just share some ideas with you about prepping items that you could be putting into your pantry. Now, I am doing these not to invoke fear at all. It's not about fear. God tells us not to fear, but this is just about being wise because God tells us also to be wise. So it's always a good idea to have items prepped for whenever, for any kind of emergencies at all. I've said this before, we've got wildfires, droughts, floods, hurricanes, just there's so much going on right now that affects our food supply and the supply chain breakdown that's happening so much now also, that we keep hearing about as far as there's hardly any people working. You know, we are really at a labor shortage right now. I know in America, but I've heard from others too, and it's basically all over the world. Hard to find truck drivers, there's shipping containers sitting. So there's a lot going on that we just need to be wise and make sure and have our house prepared. But this is the thing, you can't just go buy stuff and not have a plan for it. So you can't just go buy beans and rice, mostly if you don't even like beans and rice, but you need to have a plan for what am I gonna do with the stuff that I buy. So what I have done is made a list of meals that we like so that whenever we need to use our pantry or the food we have, or what if the electric goes out, or there's just so many different things that could happen, or we can't go to the store. It could be a matter of a job loss that keeps us from going to the store, or a shutdown, a natural disaster, if the pandemic starts up again. There's a lot of different factors that go into this, making sure that you have the supplies you need at home. But you gotta like what you eat, or it's just gonna be a waste of money. And you need to spend money wisely, mostly right now. With the cost of things going up, we need to be wise with our money, and just asking God, what do I need to be doing to prepare? Well, these are the things that I'm going to share with you that I have done to get prepared. So I'm going to do breakfast, lunch, and dinner ideas that you may think about, and then think about what your family likes also. So what I was thinking for breakfast is oatmeal is always easy. We like oatmeal. Well, I do mostly, but oatmeal is always easy. You just need to think of things that can go with oatmeal. What do you like in it? Do you like nuts? Do you like frozen fruit? Do you like honey or maple syrup? Do you have maybe some jam that you could put into it? So think of things that you'd like to put into your oatmeal. I'm actually making a baked oatmeal tomorrow. It has eggs in it also, that just gives a lot more heartiness to the oatmeal. But I'm gonna make that up and put it in the freezer. Now, if we didn't have a freezer because electric was out, then that's not gonna help me, but oats can sit inside of a container and be just fine on the shelf for a long time. So what else could you do? Well, you could do toast always. So you just could either do bread that you have gotten ahead of time and putting into the freezer to freeze, or homemade bread. It is really easy to make homemade bread. You just need to have the supplies at home though. Make sure and be buying some flour. Just a little bit of sugar is all it takes, but flour, sugar, yeast is an absolute that you're going to need. So you'll need the supplies to be able to do those things. Look up recipes ahead of time and write them on a piece of paper. Don't just depend on having your phone or your laptop as a means of going and looking up recipes. Josie, you keep making a lot of noise. Now, I'm going to link below or up here, wherever it would be, showing how to make bread. This is a crusty bread that I showed a YouTube video on how to make. But you also need to know how to make a soft sandwich bread. It's really easy. When I make that, I'm going to show you how to do that also. So you could take bread, you could put peanut butter on it to have some protein, or you could just have some jam, butter and jam on it. Eggs, if you have chickens, you're good. But if you don't have chickens, then you have enough stock of eggs, but you can freeze eggs also. I haven't tried it yet. I'm going to. So if you know the best way to freeze eggs, please share that with everybody so that we know the best way. But I'm just saying, if we can't, this is like survival kind of mode. Like if you can't get out for some reason because you're sick, you lost a job, we're in shutdown, you're in a natural disaster. Those are the things I'm thinking of why you need to have food at home. Or if there's a food shortage that happens, you need to have food at home prepared ahead of time. Okay, so for lunches, we can use the same bread, either your frozen bread or bread that you have made, and make sandwiches with it. Tuna salad, that's something that is easy and would fill you up. You could make a tuna salad, you could make a chicken salad. I have cans of tuna, I have cans of chicken also. I got those at Sam's Club, that you can make, a really satisfying meal with and enjoy what you're eating. Okay, so this is the thing. Everybody talks about buying rice and beans, but you could get really sick really quick of rice and beans, have know that you're not using for a certain meal. So that's why I say think ahead of time of what you want to get. You can have PB&J sandwiches. You can make chicken salad sandwiches. Along with that, I have bought some canned fruit, to have something sweet also. And dried fruit, that's a good option too, to be able to have something, that's sweet and satisfying to go along with it. Buying things like nuts, that are already sealed, that can sit on the shelf for quite a while. So buying different kinds of nuts, whatever kind of nuts that you like. So what I'm not doing specifically is buying like a bunch of crackers and potato chips and that kind of stuff that's really not shelf stable for very long. Those things do get stale after a while, so that's not what I'm going for. I'm going on for more things that are nutritious and that are satisfying too. So some ideas for supper. Mexican is a favorite of ours. No matter what, we love Mexican. So I could make something. I've got taco shells that are shelf stable. I've also got the soft ones. We could make chicken tacos. You can buy the taco seasoning packets if you want, or you can make it so simple at home without all of those chemicals in it, and have a big supply of that. I'll link that below too. Super easy recipe, and it's so good. So you could do a chicken tacos, or you could do something like a bowl with, always have some rice. You could do like black beans and rice and Rotel tomatoes, which are the ones with the tomatoes and the green chilies in them. And then add some frozen avocado, which that is a really good thing to do also. Here's what frozen avocado looks like. I just cut it up. Whenever one is getting really ripe, I put it onto a baking tray and put it in the freezer to freeze in different pieces, so it's not one big clump going into the freezer. Once they are frozen in pieces, then I put them in a freezer bag and put them in the freezer. So that way you can still enjoy avocado. Cilantro, another thing, cilantro goes bad in the refrigerator, so I actually buy big bunches of cilantro. This is a small bunch, but I buy big bunches of cilantro and I put it in the freezer too. And then all I do is break off the bottom, the stem part, and just kind of crumble the leaves. Now it's not fresh, of course, but whenever it's mixed in with your Mexican, it tastes great. So I always freeze it, put it in a freezer bag, and just break off the top, crumble it, and I have to hit cilantro. And you can do the same thing. You can also freeze limes, and then as they get thawed out, then you just squeeze that over there. So you have something really satisfying to eat still, and you feel like you have some fresh ingredients too with the lime, the cilantro, and the avocado. So you can always do Mexican a couple of different ways. A great thing to do is you could take your chicken again. Now this is, you can either use canned or frozen. So the reason I said I like frozen, but if the electric was out, what do you need to be able to cook off of your pantry shelves? So you could use the chicken, you could mix green beans and potatoes. Regular potatoes is what I would always prefer, but again, if I couldn't get out, then I do have some diced potatoes or some whole potatoes also that you can make, and you'll need flavor into it. So make sure and have spices. And bouillon is always good. You can either buy it in the bouillon cubes like this that will stay on the shelf for a long time. Let me see, best if used by August of 2022. So that's a long time. Or you could buy the powdered version. You can buy the stable, or you can buy the cartons of beef broth and chicken broths kind of thing, but just know that after you open it, it has to be refrigerated. So these are non-refrigerated items by buying this, but you need things that are going to add flavor to your food. Chili, that's a great one. You could either use, let me see, I've got kidney beans here. So you can either use canned, or you can buy bags of beans also and, get it cooked yourself. So it will take, if you don't have power, then you're going to need cans of beans. But otherwise, if you're just at home cooking from your pantry, then this is a great thing to have too. So just soak the beans. I can put them in my Instant Pot or cook them on the stove. And I could use these beans for red beans and rice, along with flavoring and some dehydrated onions. And I could cut up peppers also, peppers and onions. You could cut up into small pieces already, dice them up and put them in the freezer so you have those ahead of time if you can't buy the fresh peppers and onions, but then you can still have that fresh food. So you can use dry beans or canned beans when you're making your chili, have some canned tomatoes. So I don't know if you saw my last video, but whenever I went to Aldi, the tomato, according to the news, there very well may be a tomato shortage or a tomato price hike because of the drought that's happened out in California. They have already said expect there to be way less tomatoes. So I've already bought tomato products because we like using tomato products in our soups, our chili, our Mexican, different things that we use. So get yourself some tomato products and then you're just set. You have it at home. It's food. You're going to eat food. So you're out nothing if you buy it now. You're probably going to get it at a less expensive price because prices are going up. Inflation is happening. And you have it in there so you don't have anything to worry about. And you don't have to go to the store all the time. Just start eating out of your pantry. Another great easy thing that we love is pizza. So I make my own homemade dough. I also have a video for that. If you want to see it, I'll link it below. It's super easy to make dough and there's hardly any ingredients to it. You just, again, need to make sure you have flour at home and you have yeast at home, salt at home, and it takes just a tiny bit of sugar. Super easy to make. It tastes great. So I can make my homemade dough. I make sure, and I have pizza sauce here because this is what my husband's favorite. So this is what I buy because he likes it so much. And then have whatever toppings that you like. We love banana peppers. Pepperoni is shelf stable for a really long time. Cans of mushrooms are shelf stable for a really long time if I can't get the fresh stuff. Also, like I said, if I wanted to cut up and dice up green peppers and also some onions and have them in the freezer in case I can't get the fresh stuff, then I can let that thaw out and put it on the pizza. So there's a lot of different options. Olives is something we have plenty of in our house because we eat a lot of olives. So that's something we like on our pizza too. So I'm making sure I have stuff in my house to make meals, not just beans and rice. That is not what you want. You want to be able to make meals. So, and we'll use these, to make meals also. Another easy thing you can do is take chicken. Another meal that's really good is chicken and noodles. So you could just take more chicken and have some egg noodles or what kind of noodles you like at home and make some mashed potatoes with it. If we don't have our actual fresh potatoes, which is what I prefer, then you can eat mashed potatoes out of the box. And somebody told me that if you add mayonnaise to it, that you don't taste the mayonnaise at all, but it makes them even creamier. So I might try that sometime. I'm not usually a mashed potato box person, but I'll do whatever if I need to feed my family and stay home for some reason. So that would be an easy meal. Chicken and noodles and mashed potatoes. You could do a side of green beans or some broccoli or whatever that you have in your freezer or your pantry. Super easy, of course, always is having spaghetti and sauce. So whether you like red sauce or an Alfredo sauce, have some noodles at home. Pasta stays for a long time also on the shelf. If you know a great way to actually store pasta, how I should be storing it better than just putting it on the shelf, then let me know. Actually, let me know any of these things. I do know whenever you buy flour that you need to put it in the freezer for at least 3 days, kills any bugs. Then you can put it on your shelf. Put yeast, when you buy a package of yeast, put that in your freezer too. It is a living thing, so it needs to just stay frozen until you need to use it. These chicken, I could use for a lot of different meals. So this canned chicken is definitely something, along with my frozen chicken that I have. You'll also want to make sure and buy some condiments and spices, because you need to put flavor into your food. Just like I said, if I'm making beans and rice, I need to make sure and have flavor into it too. Some dehydrated onions I could use if I didn't have fresh, and bouillon cubes or broth of some kind. So make sure that you have cayenne pepper, but make sure that you have food that you like in your house to make actual meals. Otherwise, it's going to sit on the shelf and you just wasted your money. And none of us need to be wasting any money. So that was just my thought. I just wanted to give a few different breakfast, lunch, and dinner ideas to you. Like I said, make sure and get some recipes written down. Make sure and get a manual can opener in case we don't have electricity. You need a manual can opener also. If you guys have any other ideas, then let's share them, because all of us should at least be doing something weekly when we're going to the store. Spend some extra money, go out and do a great big haul, whatever works in your budget. But be doing something to get some more food in your house. There are some tough times coming. The Bible even tells us that tough times are coming. I believe that we are in the time period that we could be seeing a lot of this. So just get prepared. I do this just to make people aware, and it is not to fearmonger, but just out of kindness and awareness is my thought. So like this video, and until next time, I'm out.